Hey folks! So in a recent interview, Janelle Monáe described herself as pansexual, which has reignited this whole discussion of what pansexuality is and what bisexuality is and what the difference is between the two. So I thought I would weigh in. And to do so, I'm first going to give you some definitions of bisexuality and pansexuality I've seen floating around on the internet. And yes, there is a point to this. So, bisexual. Sexually attracted to both men and women. Sexually attracted to multiple genders. Romantic or sexual attraction to any gender. Sexually attracted to two or more genders. Sexually attracted to the same gender and others. And for pansexual, sexually attracted to any sex or gender. Sexually attracted to people regardless of gender, and to be gender blind in your choice of romantic or sexual partner. So a lot of those definitions sound basically the same, but they have some different nuances to them. So for example, sexually attracted to multiple genders doesn't necessarily mean all genders, whereas sexually attracted to any gender means there is the potential to be sexually attracted to all genders. And both of those are definitions for bisexuality. So if their definition is so similar, why might some people choose to use one label and some might choose to use the other? I personally like to use the label bi because I'm attracted to any gender, but I feel as though gender does play a role in that attraction and how that attraction manifests. However, that's a personal definition of the word bi, and there could be a pansexual person who experiences attraction in the same way as me, who decides that the label pansexual is a better fit. Some other reasons someone might choose the label bi is if they are sexually attracted to some genders but not all, as we've already discussed, or if they like the fact that bisexual has like a more established and older community attached to it. Someone might choose the label pansexual because they like that it's a newer label without all the baggage of the label bisexual, and that it has a more current and often younger community attached to it. They might also prefer the term pansexual because it's a more inclusive term, or because it allows them to reject the gender binary. But one misconception that I do want to make absolutely clear is that both bisexual and pansexual people can and are attracted to transgender people. This goes for both binary trans people, that is to say trans men and trans women, and non-binary trans people. The idea that bisexual people are only attracted to cisgender men and women, and therefore aren't attracted to trans people, or that they are attracted to only men and women and therefore reject non-binary people, is a pretty out-of-date idea that isn't accepted by most of the bisexual community. So if you hear a definition of bisexual, which is men and women, and then a definition of pansexual, which is men, women, and trans people, I would be very, very suspicious of whoever wrote those definitions, because that's not how most people in the actual bi and pan communities choose to view it. So we have these two labels, and they are quite similar in meaning, but we have some people who strongly prefer one over the other, and some people who are quite happy to flip between the two. I know there are some people who really want the definitions of bisexual and pansexual pinned down so we can firmly differentiate between the two. And I know there are a lot of people who are coming to terms with the fact they are attracted to multiple genders who really struggle to choose between the two words and wish there wasn't two to choose between in the first place. But as my friend Lou on Twitter put it, I think that trying to pin a very precise label to either of these identities is ultimately harmful. If there's one thing I really want to push on this channel, it's the understanding that everyone experiences attraction differently, and what label someone chooses is ultimately a personal choice. The labels bisexual and pansexual serve different functions for the people who use them. The bi and pan communities are incredibly linked, but bi and pan are still two separate identities, and if someone chooses one over the other, then that's their business. Ultimately, I think in a situation like this, the more you pin down and try and specifically detail what a label entails, the less useful that label becomes. And I think we should just respect which label someone chooses to use and not try and delve too deeply into defining the two and working out what the difference is between them. But if you do strongly identify with one label over the other, I'm curious to know why, so leave a comment. Okay, bye!